This is going to be great. Okay, so that's what we're reading today. All right, recording is happening, and all signs point to yes. So here goes. It starts in... whoops, there we go. In 3, 2, 1. Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another episode of There Will Be Dungeons at ThereWillBeDungeons.com, a fantastic D&D adventure with me, Scott Johnson, Bo Schwartz, John Jagger, Kristen Ashton, and Kyle Ferguson. And we're back. We're ready to do it again. But before we get going here on episode 42, by the way, 42, which only puts us, by the way, I think 3 or 4 behind the totality of Critical Role's total number of shows done. I don't know if you guys knew that, but they're at like 46 or something.
For their second campaign.
You're not supposed to say that part. You're supposed to make people think. You're supposed to make them think we're cooler than we are.
Christmas is canceled.
I know. Isn't it always?
Sorry, I landed with my logic and facts and ruined Christmas.
Nice
You're just
job.
preventing the emails.
That's right.
Coming
just
right?
stopping them, putting them stopped right in their tracks. All right, I'm going to read this email from John, who wrote in. This is a follow-up. It's verse 2 to the Lemon Tree song. Yeah, that's right. He wrote in before, we read it, then Bo made a freaking video out of it, and now we got verse 2. Okay, so here you go. He says at the top, well, after the amazing video, I'm pretty much forced to respond. This verse is really not much, so much of a second verse as a prequel verse, and I'm very glad Stanley advocated to save buttons. Snuck that one in there, John. Yeah. Here's how it goes. When Bubbles Buttons senses danger, that's how he wrote it. It's like as if Bo's getting it wrong. And decides it's time to flee, he cries out to Stanley, Lemon Tree. I'm not going to really sing it. Then he goes sprinting down the hallways in a way most cowardly, all the while shouting, Lemon Tree. Lemon Tree, Lemon Tree, Lemon Tree, Lemon Tree. We still love you, Buttons. Lemon Tree. Okay, so there's your second verse. Do with it what you want. I think that's hilarious. And John, you're our email winner of the day, so congratulations and nice job. If you would like to send in your own emails to the show, go to ThereWillBeDungeons.com and do it. Or if you'd rather tweet us, you can go to ThereBeDungeons and say what you feel like saying.
Do it!
Enough screwing around. It is time for Kristen to do what she does, and that is to sum up what happened last week. Kristen, take it away.
Last time on There Will Be Dungeons, leap before you look. Straight through the streets the scamp scrammed, booking it briskly until brushing the baleful border of the pit of despair. Riveting a rope to rescind run-on rioting, Di and Talus descended, switching to Stanley as Hope headshot pursuers peering over the precipice. The remaining group released and feather fell freely. A teat guard targeted too. Named George, he promised presents if they paved him a path to his people. Besieged by blackness, but cognizant of the covert cullis, the search was on. But what they witnessed without weight was not a way. It was a terrific tentacled toad entrenched on top of its trembling trundle. Pharrell dashed into daring doings, awakening it and arresting its attention. Now moved from its made-up mattress, the rest noted a notch near the nest and prepared their plans. Stanley caused the creature to conceive a chorus of Vorels before bolting into the bedrock to behold a rusted door in the floor. The Pharrells taunted and terrorized while Nash nicked a novelty from the nest and Hope cranked the key. Failing to free itself from its fastening, the real Vorel now rushed in and released the hatch with a roaring rip. After climbing down into the ebon entrance and easing their enervated exteriors, Stanley disputed Button's destiny, calling for continuance, not curtains. They forged forward, eventually hearing hums hailing from a possible potentate of the pathways who threatened to thwack anyone who wandered into his winding walk. Now rejoin our heroes as they face down a ferocious foe. Will they fight? Will they flee? Will they manage to make nice? Find out on today's adventure deep within the literal underbelly of the Teat.
Oh, nicely done. That was awesome. All right, Bo, it's back in your hands.
I enjoyed a chorus of Vorels. Yeah. I pictured a lizard man choir.
So is that it now? It's not herd, it's not gaggle, it's none of those. Okay,
yeah, when there's many lizard folk are together, specifically Vorels, they're a chorus.
All right, I'm in.
Sorry. Okay. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, players.
Yeah.
Welcome to which episode? The 42nd.
42, man. Answer to life, the universe, and everything. Congratulations.
Right.
Well done.
Well, there were 4 adventurers looking for answers deep beneath Tietkala Keep in a cave. The cave is dark. Everyone can see with their dark vision in shades of gray and black. Except for George, the Teat Guard, who pledged his life to you so that he could save his family, huddled in a corner behind you, very nervous. Pharrell was in the process of collecting bugs when Nash decided to make a big show.
It was a big show, but okay.
Of licking his egg. And so we fade from black to an image of Nash holding a large froghemoth sphere in his hand, with his tongue extended slightly out from his mouth as he draws it close to the sphere to taste it. We close in on the sphere. We close in on Nash's eye. We close in on the sphere. We get a close-up of the tongue as the sphere comes into view, and the tongue slowly descends on the surface of the sphere, connecting. As you go to take a little taste, just with your tongue, you pull it away, and a large, stringy, translucent yellow, almost like a mozzarella cheese melting off a pizza, pulls out from the egg, and then you pull it away so that it splits unceremoniously, because you are Nash. And then you draw it into your mouth and swirl it around like a wine taster tasting wine.
Why am I doing that? I don't want to do that. All right, fine.
It tastes of boogers.
Uh-huh.
And turmeric. And possibly smegma.
Okay. Foul. All right. You want me to pick it up from there?
Your companions look at you expectantly. They don't want to admit they're curious, but you can see the curiosity in their eyes.
All right. By the way, real quick note. If anyone in the chat has that art that, I always forget his name. Audie did of me getting ready to lick that ball. Could you send me that? It was on Twitter. I want to show it on the video. So just a note. All right. Well, I'm gonna. Can I do an Arcana check on this thing, on this ball? Now that
Certainly.
I've licked it, I want to do that.
Well, so the way that it works is you say what you want to do, and I call for the check.
All right.
So I don't know why you want an Arcana check on the egg.
I just want one. I want to know if there's any magic in it.
So your character, you the player, know you have Arcana skill.
Yeah.
Nash doesn't refer to his world by his skills. He refers to the world by the terms of its world.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
So what are you doing?
All right. So I'm holding this ball, this gooey ball in my hand. I've just tasted of its essence. And I look over to my companions and go, this tastes really bad.
Hope's shaking her head with a disgusted look on her face.
I don't blame you, Hope. I don't blame you at all. Yes, Stanley.
No shit, Sherlock. Did you smell it? It's awful.
It's pretty bad, but I think there's magic in here.
Why did you taste it?
Pure curiosity. Something's drawing me to its essence. I don't know what it is. There's something in its core. I can see it. I think it's moving. I'm not sure.
You could cut it out.
There is a black pit at the center of its translucent egg sac.
Does it move? Is it a moving pit? Or is it just a...
It's not moving.
Okay.
It might be twitching a little bit, but it's very imperceptible. You're not sure if you're imagining it or if it indeed is twitching a little bit.
Hope's right. Let's open it. Let's take a look at what's inside.
All right, I'll
Wait, George. We're going to sell that, Nash.
Oh, shit. I forgot.
If we open it, it's got to be an egg.
Well, George, if you want to go back, there's plenty up there.
Yeah. Hold on. Why don't we open one and then go get another one to sell?
Listen, Nash, don't listen to your friend. How are we going to live once we escape here? We need money.
Yeah, but you could go get one more egg.
I'm not going back up there. Please, be reasonable.
Hands the knife to Nash. She pulled out of her boot.
We care more about knowledge than we do money in our group. So, George, shut your trap. We're doing it. All right.
But if it is an egg, then we already know it's an egg. But if you open it, what are you going to learn from it?
Well, we won't know until we open it. Have you seen one of these before? Do you know what's going on with this thing?
No, but on the chance that it is very valuable, and I think it is, we have to live off something once we escape.
George, if I may, the man you're speaking to just licked the foulest smelling thing I've ever seen, or smelt, for that matter, simply out of curiosity. I assure you, there is no talking sense into him once he has decided the course of action.
For some reason, the DM, I mean George, really doesn't want me to cut this egg open. And I'm trying to understand.
Care. You can cut it open all you want, but George sees it as, you can tell that George sees it as his part of the ticket, not just for himself, but for you guys, because he doesn't know what you guys are up to. He's assuming you're going to be escaping Trashburg with him because you're wanted men. Like that's what you understand from his motivation. He doesn't know that what you're up to otherwise.
George, what if it was in two halves and we sold a half of it? Is it still worth something in halves?
We can go get another one. It's not that big of a deal. It's right down the hallway.
If it's an egg, you can't... I've never seen a chicken hatch from half an egg.
George, I will walk you back down that hallway and stand at the bottom of the ladder if you want to go get another one.
We're not going back up there.
Did you see how many there were? It's all right. We can cut this one open.
That the fragger's probably looming over top waiting for us. We can't go back up there. That's madness.
Hope's tail is swishing very, very frustratedly. She's trying not to threaten this man's life, but there's only so much more she can take.
Let me hold on to it. I'll take care of it.
I really want to know it's all right. I'll tell you what. We won't do anything until we get out of here. We'll keep it, but I may still open it. We'll hang on to it for now, George.
Trust me. Are you the Nash one?
Yeah.
Hope
that's my name.
takes her knife back.
That's my name.
Trust me, I've pledged my life to you. Our survival is bound together, and I think we're gonna need this.
All right, we'll get to the surface. We'll see what we get offered for it. If it's not that great and you were wrong, I'm cutting it open.
Fair enough.
All right.
Thank you for listening to me. I know I have no reason for you to be listening to me. Just moments ago, I was your enemy, and now I've pledged my life to you, but trust me, the thing that matters most to me in this world is seeing my wife and my children again, and getting out of here and just living to see another day. I can't believe I've survived the justice of the Fragger Pit.
Hope's shaking her head. She doesn't believe a word of this.
Yeah, I mean, George is pretty unbelievable. All right, here, George, here's the deal. If we get up there and this thing splits open and eats us all, you're a dead man. So if you know something about this damn egg and you're not telling me...
It's got to take time to grow. I'm sure it doesn't burst out fully grown. We can kill it if, it's trouble before it becomes a problem.
Stanley!
Yes?
Advice? Do you want to do this or not?
I want no part in your egg dilemmas.
That's what I thought. All right, we'll keep it safe till we get to the top. Let's get out of here.
Now, do you suppose maybe your lizard friend there might help us with this, though?
What do you mean?
What? What is his name?
Pharrell. What do you mean he'll help us with it?
Well, he's a lizard. Doesn't he lay eggs?
Yeah, but he didn't shit this out. This isn't his egg.
No, but he might be better suited. Like, I understand how babies are made, so I imagine it's not much different for elves or gnomes, so I can relate to them. Perhaps Pharrell can relate to this egg.
All right, well, you ask him then. I can tell you,
ask him?
He's a real party animal when he senses fear down here. This is going to be great.
Somebody please call the king of the cave so I can get smashed and get out of here.
Can you ask him?
Pharrell! Where's Pharrell? He's behind us, right? I can't see him. Oh,
How
there he is.
loud are you yelling?
Well,
I am rolling an 8 on collecting bugs with survival.
Oh, he's getting bugs,
Okay.
right.
All right. The haul you have so far is disappointing. The bugs are definitely tougher to catch than the surface bugs that you might have tried. But your determination is no less, and you have collected nourishment for yourself and half of nourishment for one other.
For one other.
Well-
Okay.
Well, I will take the bugs, thank you.
Oh, will you now?
Enjoy your egg.
Well, Pharrell has not given them to you yet.
Yeah, Pharrell gets to choose.
I come back with my hands, like I'm holding water in a little ball. Space in the middle. Yes?
All right, two things. Stanley wants your food, but before you do that, George, you have a question for Pharrell about how he makes eggs?
No, you were going to ask.
Oh, shit. Okay, Pharrell, here's... we need to... tell me how your kind are made. How do you make more lizard men?
They are birthed.
Eggs or no?
Yes.
Oh,
in
okay.
eggs.
How long do those eggs take to mature before they are, ready to be lizard kid?
Kyle's like, I wasn't prepared for this.
The lounge takes about 8 weeks to birth a small lizard folk.
Lounge.
That's what lizards are called in a group.
Oh. I thought it was
A herd, a flock,
I thought it was
a lounge.
chorus. It's not a chorus?
No.
Okay, well, no. So, but it takes time. Do you lay the eggs or do lady lizards lay the eggs?
There are the two sexes, yes.
Okay. And when the egg's laid, there's time before it emerges. The creature
Well,
within.
first there's insertion, Nash.
Oh. Well, we don't have to talk about that part. I don't want to know how you guys do it. I just want to know how the egg... So after that,
Yes.
the eggs... You've consummated your love and you've seeded her egg. Now the egg grows and then falls out the back end of a lizard lady, and then a little time passes before it becomes a lizard child.
You know what? I can catch my own bugs. I'm gonna go over and try and catch bugs.
Stanley, I have very well. Nash, you do understand that your egg is soft on the outside, yes?
Yes, it's very soft and disgusting.
That means it is porous. That means
yeah.
it was sprayed upon,
Oh.
if not asexual.
Oh, wait a minute. Are you saying that a male, whatever these are, sprayed his seed on these eggs?
Yes.
Wipe my mouth. I'm ready to go.
I got a 24 on my survival check to get bugs.
Your desire to remove yourself from this entire interaction was so strong that it inspired you to really concentrate and find a fair amount of bugs. So you capture a few millipedes and one very white-looking worm.
Great. Dinner time. Away from the idiots.
All right, I'm putting it back in my cloak, and we're holding on to it till we get out of wherever we're getting out of. I'm not going to cut it yet.
Thank you, Mr. Pharrell, for your knowledge.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
See, Nash?
Yeah, I'm real glad I found out how that works. I just yacked all over the cave wall. We really should move beyond here.
We were going to feast first, yes? Take a rest? That or I posed we meet the king.
That sounds fine.
I'm
Stanley,
down for taking a rest.
Stanley, you can sit here next to my vomit.
It's
Thanks,
a big
Nash.
cave.
I'm fine over here with my dinner.
Great. I slide down the wall and sit with my arms around my knees and look pissed.
Pharrell, can you show me how to hunt for bugs?
Yes, quite easily. There are many in this cave. Find a nice crack and stick a finger on in.
All right. And hope we'll start learning to hunt bugs.
And I'll do an aid.
I think aid confers advantage, or is it a bonus? I think help is the name of the action. Is like the
Help
you
back.
could lend your help to aid another in their action.
Advantage, yep.
Yeah, it looks like advantage.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's
how
right.
would I
Yeah.
roll this with
But-
disadvantage as well?
Oh, they cancel each other out, so it's a normal roll.
Oh, so just the one roll.
Yeah.
Cool. And this is his nature?
Mm-hmm.
So 4.
Yeah. So you watch as she awkwardly puts her finger in the crack of a wall, and just comes out with nothing but dirt as she tears it open, and can't catch bugs. You get nothing.
Yeah, well, it does work, I assure you. Perhaps I shall lead the way, and you can watch. 18.
Okay. So you crouch down, and then with very quick, agile like reflexes, pluck out bugs very easily from the wall and start adding them to your hand. And if they're too squirmy, you squish them so they stop moving, and continue plucking. And Hope, you watch this.
Cool. I'll get a determined look on my face and try again. 10.
You do a little bit better this time when Varel offers you a turn to pick bugs from the wall. You manage to catch a bug.
I'll look proud.
It's a little
I'll
beetle.
show Pharrell.
Very good. Beetle. Fine choice. Now, be sure to inspect the buttocks.
Why?
Well, some beetles spray or have foul tastes in their backs. So we might want to eat the butt first or the face first, depending on what type of beetle it is.
How do you tell?
You can give them a squeeze.
And I squeeze it.
Do I smell anything awful?
Survival check, please.
19.
The beetle has a fullness of smell, but not a bad one. This is a delectable beetle, untouched by civilization and predators.
Excellent. You have a fine beetle there, full of nutrition. Down it goes.
All
of it.
Then Hope will start crunching this beetle down.
I'll give her a pat on the back. Good, good. Well,
Is everyone eating bugs at this point?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Dash, are you eating anything?
Yeah, but I have something I've just decided to do. It's a little abrupt. I get up. Hope, give me your knife.
Yeah. And I'll reach out and hand the knife over.
I take the knife. I don't even say thank you. I turn around, and on a flat piece of rock, I whip the egg out, and I slice it exactly in half. Shunk! And I look at George.
Okay. You slice the egg in half.
Yeah.
Okay. You
Now-
do this, you put it on a rock, you slice it, and he goes, no, no, no!
And I say, calm down, George. I got this. I forgot. I know some new magic. When we're done looking at it, I can put it all back together. I checked it, by the way. It is my mending cantrip. Will let me repair a single break or tear in an object. I touch, does not matter what the object is. It can be anything as long as the break or tear is no longer than 1 foot in any dimension. I mend it, leaving no...
Think about the wording of it.
What do you mean?
It's an object, but
Yeah.
an egg would be a creature.
Oh, well, we don't know it's a creature, do we?
It's a life form.
Ah, shit.
But you don't. It's true. You don't know.
Yeah.
I'm saying based on the logic that we've learned thus far, just so that you don't screw yourself with the spell.
Yeah.
I would not consider an egg an object because it has a life force to it, has a soul, a spirit.
All right. Well, then I've done it anyway, thinking I can mend it. And,
Okay.
and the
You cut it in
consequences
half.
will be whatever they are.
Yeah.
And I look at it now. I don't know what I see. What do I?
So it splits open.
Yeah.
All right, and then the gelatinous goo that it's out of, like it cuts open really easily. It's like the shell of it, if you were to call it that, is a thicker membrane.
Yeah.
On the top, so it gives way very quickly as you open it up, and all the goo inside just into a puddle. All the ectoplasm or placenta looking stuff. The black pit then falls on top as the skin sort of like cellophane just sort of wilts down. It's not really in half. You've just basically burst the entire sphere. And there's a sort of the dark black pit. It's sort of in maybe 4 or 5 inches. This kind of looks like a slimy piece of fillet, but all black, pitch black.
Okay. Okay. Does it smell any worse?
It smells much worse.
It's worse open. Okay.
Yeah. You can't see anything in the air, but the pungent it's like how it tasted, except now it's in the air. So there's a smell of boogers, turmeric, and smegma in the air in the room.
Turmeric. That's the weirdest thing. All right, well, I go,
It doesn't
okay.
like turmeric. It's not actual turmeric.
Does anyone see anything here we need to know?
What's the black thing?
I don't know. I'm poking it, and
Touch
I'll
it.
poke it. I'm going to poke it with my finger.
You poke it, and it feels kind of like it's just like very consistent Jello. It's like gelatinous.
Okay, does it move at all when I poke it?
It doesn't react to your poke. I mean, if you poke it and push it, it slides along the ectoplasm and moves around.
Okay. Well, we've learned nothing then. Hold on a second. I've got a spell that I can fix this with, and I'm going to attempt the spell. Okay? And see how it goes. Of repairing it.
Okay.
And I'm going to very confidently look like I'm going to do this. I'm going to walk up to it standing as straight and not all hunched over like usual, and I'm going to just cast this
you make an attempt to put it back together using your magic as you quiet yourself and start moving your hands above the mess that you've made, and it doesn't respond to your magical will.
All right. So, wait a minute. This is supposed to work. I don't understand.
Well, it's. What do you mean? You can put eggs back together.
Can I? I mean, yes. I thought I could. I thought I could mend it and everything would be fine. George, you may have to go get another one.
I'm not going back up there. We have to get out of here. Where does this cave lead, anyways?
All right, I'm
far away from Trashburg.
I'm taking the little black thing, putting it in my pocket. I'm keeping that. I'm keeping that. No egg, just the little whatever's in there.
Okay, you fish out the black, fillet-looking
Little
pit
core.
that was in there.
Mhm.
It sort of droops between your fingers. It's very, fills your hand. It's gelatinous, and pick it up and put it in your pocket.
All right, it's in my cloak pocket.
Mhm.
I'm good.
Hope
Sorry
we'll
about
take our knife
that.
Back.
This is all very weird. Let's keep moving.
So, are you eating anything? Back to the original
Oh shit!
question.
Are there extra bugs I can have? I just need 1 or 2. Pharrell,
I have extra bugs, yes.
I'll pay you back.
Don't worry about it, Nash.
That's very kind of you, Pharrell. And I put my hand out for whatever you're going to give me.
I pick him out a nice juicy millipede.
All right, I'll hork that down.
All right, as you sort of crouch or sit or do in whatever positions you're in, relaxing and eating, George sort of, because his jacket sort of closes over the top, he unbuttons a few buttons, reaches his hand in, and well, he has his helmet on, so he takes off his helmet, and you see, brown head of hair, kind of lined, cracked face, kind of very asymmetrical and well worn. And he puts the helmet down, and then he reaches into his jacket and he pulls out this wax paper, and he starts unfolding it, and he reveals some kind of a sandwich. And he takes a bite, 2 pieces of bread, and eats and watches you all eat bugs.
Well, if I'd have known he had the sandwich, I might have approached him for it, but that's fine.
He doesn't appear to realize that, what he's doing. He's just eating his sandwich in front of you.
Okay. I just eat my millipede.
In his mouthful, he goes, "My wife made this for me."
My lizard made this for me.
Okay, everyone eats in silence, takes their break, rests up so you can... We already kind of did this, I think, last week. You can roll your hit dice, but if you have hit dice to roll to recover your HP, you can. Your features that recover from a short rest come back online.
Is the king still singing during this time?
So the king singing had subsided, but during this time, just as you're starting to contemplate moving on, you hear a... And it's echoing and reverberating down the walls, so you can't make out the words, as if perhaps his position has changed and it's carrying farther, so you can't hear it as clearly.
Pharrell, what is your intent with this king? How do you think we should proceed?
We didn't expect any sort of society down here. We expected perhaps traps, a cave, a tunnel to the castle. I would say that the king is king of nothing, much as I am, declaring future kingdom. And I would like to supplant him.
All right, do we have a plan on how exactly we want to go about doing that?
No.
All right.
We are still proceeding, yes? The goal is to find the entrance. The 26ers would enter behind us, past the enraged, eggless, well, if it counts, beast, and make it down here, yes?
Yes, they asked that we clear out the tunnels to help them move through it, which, supports the getting rid of the king.
That's true. I expected more resistance, traps, things of this nature. This has been quite the peaceful rest. There does not seem to be much of a constructed system here.
Well, remember, the people above don't know about this place, as far as we know.
That's true, but it was supposed to be a secret escape for the tiefling higher folk.
On the letter Tedna sent, he said he found the stone forms of tieflings somewhere down here.
Well then, we should proceed, yes?
Yeah, let's get ready. Let's do this.
All right, so information you remember from last week, Pharrell, was that the singing was coming from the east passage, that you could tell. There's quietness coming from the northern and western passages in this room.
It seems the king has moved on some ways to the east here. We have two options for this quiet passage.
Well, I mean, I feel like we're gonna have to deal with him one way or another, but we can always explore other avenues first.
Well, let's take a peek. Let's gain our surroundings, perhaps, and then make our choice off of the next room.
Very well.
All right. So, which direction are you choosing as a group? My dice.
Let's go left, so west first.
Yeah.
All right. So I will move the lead person. Make your march order. All right. So you examine the tunnel to the east, essentially, and it has the appearance of being very very damp.
I would probably go behind Varel, I think. Yeah.
You guys have control of your characters otherwise, so you can move them.
Cool.
George stays close to you, Hope.
All right,
Still
I'll
on
let
tail.
Nash go ahead of me. Yeah, so George can keep hold of the tail.
All right. So, Varel, you make your way down the passage, and you notice that this passage, just briefly glancing around, does not appear to be traveled by men, by people. It looks very natural, but you do notice the signs and presence of a beast having traversed these halls. So small footmarks, scratches, aged. But who knows the age of such a beast that would make those claw marks? And as you approach the corner, you stop. And I'd like you to make a perception roll, please.
All right.
Let's have the whole party do it, actually.
Natural one.
It's a good one. You really are blind in here.
Oh, jeez, mine's not much better. Perception.
Yeah.
8.
8 as well.
Hold on a second. I always forget if I have.
We
any
were just having
proficiencies.
such a good time. Dang, we just didn't have time to look around.
13.
Well, I mean, as you the hall narrows and turns suddenly to the left. You listen intently and look around to see if you can see any clues as to what might be up ahead, but you're unable to determine anything.
All right, I'll turn back to the group. Thin passageway, old creatures. This does not seem the path of royalty from a castle.
We back up and try straight ahead.
Let's try the northern path.
Okay.
Hope we'll start backing up.
You guys start backing up. George, let's make your way back to the main room. I'm moving everybody.
Oh,
All right.
okay.
So you make your way back to the egg room, where the great egg opening happened, and look at one another to make a decision as to what to do next.
Next passage.
North.
Not the king and unexplored.
Okay, so you make your way north, and this passage is much more open, 10 feet across. Again, old and dark. As you move up ahead, you notice that the passage splits into two. You have a direction left and a direction north. Although you can see, I think, well enough down the north passage to notice that it appears to come to some sort of naturally formed end and doesn't go anywhere.
Let's close each chapter as we meet it, and I'll go to the supposed dead-end room.
Okay. So you make your way to the end of the hall, or into the cavern corridor, and there doesn't appear to be anything of interest at this end.
Look at the ceiling.
You look up at the ceiling, and you notice that the ceiling does dip up a bit and heighten as it reaches the end, but you don't make out any exit or any features of note.
All right, very good.
Just cave
Back to the
wall.
group.
All right. Move back to the group to report on your information.
Dead end that way. Big room this way.
All right, well, might as well figure out which way is the best way to go. Let's proceed.
I'll go to the very entrance of this room and take a look inside. Not hiding or anything.
Okay, so you move towards the entrance here, and you notice that The features of the cave wall are similar to the ones that you were previously in. There's not much of a change. However, there does appear to be some strange strands of some kind that don't look like natural cave features. White strands littered on the ground.
It's more of that milk, Stanley milk.
Excuse me?
No, I wasn't in character. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
All right, I'll report back to the group after my slight look. Big room. Goes on beyond my sight. There appears to be hair or web or something on the ground.
Can you go pick one up?
I could, yes.
If it's a web, I feel like that's a real good way of telling whatever said it there that we're here.
That is much as true.
Does the room seem to continue on? Is there a chance that this is the direction we're supposed to be going?
Unknown on that one without entering proper.
Can you go look at the things really closely to tell without touching it?
I can proceed in. Please, watch my back.
All right. And so how far do you want to move into the room?
I would like to move to here, just about 20 feet, not beyond the entranceway.
Okay, so you move carefully into the entranceway of the larger chamber that you see. And as you peer in, you get the sense immediately that this room is a lair of some sort of beast. And you determine that by the fact that the claw markings on the wall, they're not claw markings so much as imperfections in loose clay and sand. You see something would have moved across. And you also see that there are the strands that you've noticed look like this mucous membrane that are perhaps the excretions of some kind of creature left on the walls. The one curious thing about this room, and they become more pronounced as you proceed deeper into the room, you sort of look and you see that there's mucous membrane on the wall and strands of mucous membrane on the ground. And one thing that does catch your eye is there's not many of them, but there are a few bones strewn throughout the room. Very few, not many. Maybe 3 in your eyesight. But the curious thing about this lair is that, well, there's no creature.
But it does proceed around a corner I cannot see.
That's true.
All right, I will take the 10-foot step back to the group, whispering. This is a den, most certainly. There are remains. There are excretions. There are marks in the walls.
Then to the king.
So far, we have 2 different passageways with evidence of something living here, but no evidence of whatever that something might be still being around.
Now, these are, perhaps hasn't fed recently, but these are moist. They are, glimmering, if you will. There are plenty of creatures that can hibernate, go without substance for a long time. I would expect this to be occupied.
Perhaps this singing king feels ownership of this place, having ridded the place of its former inhabitants, too.
That's true, in which the king is our only adversary left.
Well,
So
should
to him
we
then?
proceed this way or head back towards the king?
Either way, going slow in here is likely to be a bit of a bust. A waste of time. I say we enter immediately and get this creature stirred and defeated. Otherwise, we just risk getting deeper into the lair where it'll be even stronger.
But how do we know it's past the king? Why
What-
can't we assume it would just live up here?
the passageway to the castle?
creature that you're talking about.
Oh, I fully believe it lives directly behind me.
Oh. So why would we need to wake it up?
To defeat it.
I have an
But we
idea.
need to get through the caves.
I have an idea. Nash raises his hand.
Yes, Nash.
Is there any... find a stone. Hey, DM, is there any stones around? Can I look for a stone?
Now, there are rocks, tight mineral formations. Nothing resembling a stone as much as hard chunks of clay and cavern rock.
There's no, like, pebbles or anything loose around my feet or...
Roll a survival check.
Okay.
The walls and floor are damp, and they're very clay and sandy.
Natural
looking
20.
around.
Natural 20.
All right, so you begin digging. You don't see... For our audio listeners, Scott's doing
Very
a time
happy
dance.
with this 20.
You don't see a stone on the ground, so you begin digging to search for one in the clay, and within seconds you spot one and pluck it out of the dirt floor.
All right.
Nash, I understand your curiosity.
I'm not just going to throw it, though, Pharrell. I have this idea.
All right,
I
then
can-
I'm impressed.
I can
Share.
I can touch the stone,
Uh-huh.
create light, which will radiate up to 20 feet around the object. We could toss it in there, and we'd know if there was anything in there. Now, we may awaken whatever it is. We may stir something. I don't
Yes.
know. But at least we could see, and if your plan is to attack either way, what's the harm?
This cave has a finite end. We don't know its exit. It's finite for us. We will defeat this beast if it shows there is no running this time. And we know the king, at least, has some sort of auditory sense, for he sings on some amount of pitch and makes words. We would have to defeat this without guns, is my saying.
A quiet,
Otherwise, we alert the king.
quiet death.
So I feel the throw decision is up to our boom users, if you will.
I can't keep it quiet.
You
Well.
can keep it quiet.
Well, I don't want to screw this up, so I'll take anyone else's lead. Just know if we need some light, I can provide it.
It's true, and on your map, it will provide brighter light on the map. I have a way of showing that.
Right. Basically, like throwing a lantern out there is what it would be. We don't have to throw it. We could hold it up and see 20 feet out, but...
George the human.
You look around and you notice that he's not there.
What? That's horse shit.
Did anyone notice him as we left the previous tunnel?
He did come back. I'm gonna head to the main entryway where the eggening happened.
He may already be liquefied. We must be careful.
Hope's leaving.
All right, Hope, you move back to get to the main room, and you can see George, but he's feeling out in front of him, like
Okay.
he's lost hold somewhere of your tail, and he just can't see, and he's just like, you can see fear in him, and you can see he hasn't cried out probably for fear that he didn't want to alert any predators. So but his body's shaking. He's feeling around here. You hear a little, Hope, Nash, Hope.
Hope will just stand there watching for a little bit, enjoying the sight.
Hope.
For like 5 minutes or so, before she slowly walks to him.
Someone, are you out there?
She'll walk up to him and offer her tail.
Oh, and wait, so you don't say anything? You just walk up to him and
I'll whisper, George.
he goes, "Ah!" He screams out, and it echoes down the hallway.
That was a really good echo sound. That was great.
Okay.
Inspiration for Bo. Sorry. Go ahead.
I'll immediately clap my hand on his mouth.
And he's like, his eyes are wide.
Shh.
And you sort of see recognition. He can't make you out. It's pitch black down here. You can't see. But as soon as he hears George, his body stops, settles, immediately relaxes.
Okay. And for a second, Hope contemplates the spring strike 3. but she gives him a half point, so he's at strike 2.5 in her mind. And she'll hand him her tail and slowly walk him back to where everyone else is.
Okay, so he follows along, and you guys return to the group. I hope you return to the group.
Thank you, Hope. George?
I wonder, do you have any light?
We were thinking to make some. Outside of secret sandwiches, what skills do you possess?
Secret Sandwiches is the name of today's episode. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I'm good at arithmetic, and I like to play accordion. Do you know what an accordion is? I have one at home. My grandfather gave it to me. I just love to play it.
We had one in the solar mines, but it was broken.
I'm pretty good at remembering things.
George, please stop.
When we have guests over at the house, I'm a pretty good entertainer too, I think.
I felt great glory this day for slaying so many of your brethren, but what you are telling me is there are no warriors. I slew musicians and cooks.
Well, the people of the Teat God come from the people of Trashburg. They're just normal people from the city, and the thing is, getting a job with the Teat God's much better than working in the refinery. But the danger is that, well, sometimes if there's a dangerous passage, they ask the Teat God to go first, and we get selected first for dangerous activities. But our families are taken care of.
Well,
and
then
I'd
we
like to
found
think-
your use.
I'd like to think when I applied to the Teat God, it was Chief Panepoli who did my interview, and she was very impressed with the fact that I knew how to play accordion.
A
Well,
needed
that's great.
skill, yes. Then we found your use, George.
I don't think I should play accordion. I don't even have it here.
No. You are skilled and trained in leading the way.
Oh, no. That's in Trashburg. I am not a skilled cavern diver.
We're going to make light.
Right. Oh, that's good, so we can see.
Yes.
Okay.
You ready?
How does-
You ready for this?
Do it, Nash.
Watch the stone, I say.
Don't look at the stone.
And then
Wait,
I go.
you can cast a spell that makes the stone a light source?
Yeah.
Is that how that works?
Yeah, so it's sorry.
Okay,
It's called
yeah.
light. It's a cantrip, so I don't have to use a spell slot. And it lets touch the object no larger than 10 feet in any dimension. Until it ends, which is 1 hour. We have an hour with this thing. Object sends light up to 20-foot radius, which is all pure light, and then dim light for an additional 20 feet. So 40 feet total, dim for the 20 additional. Does that make sense? Light can be colored as I like, so I'm going to make it orange.
Okay, so now you have a bright light. The player should be able to see where you have the bright light and the dim light.
Yep, and it's
You guys all
orange as
see that?
hell. Yeah. Orange is all shit. All right.
I don't know that I can change the color of it on the map.
That's okay. It's all in my imagination at this point. It's fine. We're just bathed in this like nasty orange light. All right. So I've got it now. Pharrell.
Oh, thank you, Nash. Oh, it's so good to see. I was so scared.
Now what? Do you want me to throw it in there? Do you want to walk in with it? How do you want to use my magical light?
Why don't we go talk to the king? Maybe we could recruit him to fight this thing when we're done.
Thought we were going to make use of George's skills and have him walk it in.
I mean, surely
He looks
Pharrell,
into
you're
the
more
passage.
ferocious than anything that's in that room. We got your back.
Burrell rubs his eyes. I have no doubt that you would have my back. What is George armed with? I look at him.
He's got a shotgun. He has padded. He looks like he's dressed up in riot gear with the motorcycle helmet, which he has back on, but the visor's up so he can see, and the shotgun. You see a knife holstered in his belt.
This is my dilemma, Stanley.
Yeah, but what's he gonna do? He's gonna go in there and get killed.
Hey, now I'm right here. I can hear you. I know how to use this thing. And he pats the gun. Might not be the best shot.
Pharrell doesn't want us to use any of those things.
Yeah, we're not allowed to use.
So we're gonna like laugh at it. I think, maybe clap in its direction.
I mean, I don't want to use my knife only if I have to. With whatever comes out there, I'd prefer to shoot it, really. It's the human way.
But we don't want to fight two things or more things. You understand?
I don't know. I think maybe that first passage sounded like it didn't have anything dangerous in it, says George. I don't want to meet whoever's singing down here.
Either way, this doesn't sound like a good fight yet. If we're afraid of making noise, we can't prevent noise. The thing could come out screaming, and then it wouldn't matter.
It's a fine point. Perhaps an addendum to the plan, then. If it screams first, we may scream to our heart's content.
Great.
Is it agreed?
Let's just fight this thing.
If it is a noisy beast, then we slay it noisily.
Hope's just shaking her head. She's against the wall, arms crossed. She clearly just wants to move on to a different tunnel. But she will stay and fight, if needed.
The problem is, what if this is the tunnel we need? You know what? I'm going in. Move to there.
Stanley, you move in. You see, again, what I described to Pharrell earlier. There's mucous membrane on the walls. There's a couple of bones. Look like humanoid bones here or there, but old.
I
And
send out Mage Hand to go poke the mucous membrane.
okay. Is it invisible or is it visible?
It's spectral, so I would
so
say
you do see it. You do see a hand. So a hand. You summon forth your mage hand, and it floats out to the nearest mucous membrane, which is just a few feet in front of you, and you poke it. There's no reaction. It seems to be somewhat, perhaps, sticky, and it's taut over the floor of the cave floor.
Is it covering the entire floor, or is there presumably
No, there's just little strings here and there, like excrement in different parts of the room and on the walls, and a little bit on the ceiling too.
I'm gonna look back and say, it seems fine.
Do you need me to lick it?
Yes, Nash, come in here and lick it. Tell
Is
me
it-
if it reminds you of anything.
It was a joke. Forget it. I don't want to lick it.
Hope will start moving into the room.
My mouth still tastes like sperm eggs.
Yep, I'm gonna just go forward because death is preferable from what I'm hearing behind me.
Hope's wondering how Nash knows what that tastes like.
I would be very careful not to step on any of the mucous membranes, but I'll go ahead and keep moving.
You carefully move around them. You get to a point in the floor where there's quite a bit of it, and you're not going to be able to avoid them.
Is that
As you
about where
approach
I
the
am,
corner.
or can I press further?
As you approach the corner.
Okay. I'm gonna tap one of the membranes with my foot.
Okay. You slowly tap it. Sort of is a bit springy. And that's when you hear it. You hear a you hear these little ticks, little tickies coming from around the corner. And a little
I look back and go, I found it.
Can we just peek around the corner to see if it ends? The hallway?
It seems like a bad idea, I'm gonna say. I'm gonna slowly back up a little bit.
Okay, and as you back up, you notice that against the wall on the far side of the room, there's mucous membrane. It's white and yellowish in appearance, and there was a pretty big blotch on the wall. And with your dark vision, it was difficult for you to make out, but you actually realized you've been looking at the creature the whole time. There's about a 9-foot lengthwise part of the mucous membrane that just starts to move and shift in this weird way. And it moves along the wall, and it slowly, like some sort of giant worm, starts to move. And then it looks up in your direction and raises the head, which is sort of on the surface of the ground, and looks up, and you see 2 eyes and a large hole with maybe 18 tentacles coming out. It goes as it looks at you. With the eyes don't have like eyeballs. It's just these large gray, just almost like just these surfaces that look like eyes, but they're surfaces, and a hole that's not quite a mouth, but definitely a place for eating, and 12 spaghetti like as it looks at you. And you see that spit that came up? And it looks at you and makes that noise.
Don't buy Bo's mic secondhand. Some side advice.
Still better than your sperm egg, I'm sure.
Yeah, probably.
I'm gonna just look over my shoulder, and I think we've entered a lemon tree situation.
Hope
Take
will look
one
to
more
Pharrell.
step back.
How voluminous was the creature?
It reverberated, but it was not loud. It was like a very soft, like it doesn't have vocal cords, but that something is undulating or vibrating inside of its worm-like body to make the as it's doing. It's clearly what it's doing is it's like that threaten pose that animals do from territory.
I'm gonna keep backing up, see if it comes after me, or if it's just gonna sit there and be threatened.
It continues its pose towards you as you back up without moving.
Just keep on backing up past all my friends.
Okay.
Down around the corner.
As you back up, it lowers its face back into the dirt, and you hear the sounds of scratching on the dirt. And it starts to begin a hole on the worm. Within, about 10 seconds, descends into the hole and out of view.
Well, we learned a lot, I think. The creature's still there. It's very strange and does not seem to be chasing us.
Bend down, survival check, hand on the ground to see if there's any tremors coming through the clay.
Sure.
16.
You are trained to feel it and can feel the movement in the earth. In fact, the earth is quite alive to you, not only with the tremors of the worm-like creature digging into the ground, but perhaps other life. And perhaps water?
Alright, look up. Back to the other room. Spread out. And I start walking back down the previous hall.
I'll follow
Okay.
him.
You guys now move back to the main hallway, where you guys sat and ate bugs together.
Yep.
Cool. No backs to the walls. Spread out. We may have a tunneler and friends.
Does it sound like it's coming towards us?
Bend down for another one. 7.
You feel the vibrations of life in there, but they're not pronounced like they were when you checked it in the room.
Nothing in here.
Well, do we try and fight it and see around the corner, or do we go into the room with the king?
Well, I mean, we've partially explored two directions now. Doesn't seem like they would be the right ways to go. We can rule out the third. And hopefully get a message to them when they come in to avoid worm rooms or strange hallways.
How soft are the rocks on the wall?
So it's like clay. So it is possible. It's very hard clay, and it's somewhat oily. Like it almost feels like the walls are sweating, sort of a dampness, and sometimes it looks greasy. Given that the keep is built at the edge of a giant oil sand lake, not surprising. It is. You can't dig through it easily, but it is definitely. It's not solid rock in a lot of places. It's more of a greasy clay.
Cool, so something could be carved in the wall.
Yes.
Cool. So what we can do is once we find the direction, I can come back and etch in markings.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. Help them find their way and hopefully not have to deal with any beasts.
Excellent. To the king, then.
To the king.
And I'll lead the way this direction.
Okay. George follows along hurriedly so as not to get left behind. All right, so you move into to view of this room, and as you peer in with your dark vision, and the light shining behind you is somewhat of an annoyance, but you can still see inside. You notice a pair of boots. It's a large cavern wall. This is about 30 feet. Is it 30 feet in diameter? It's about 40 feet in diameter. Ceiling opens up a bit. Nothing interesting in features except in the middle of the room, it looks like there's a pair of work boots.
Turn back to the group quietly. There's boots.
Just another classic case of boots in the middle of a room.
Yes. Boots. A sticky floor, perhaps? Someone losing their shoes? An assailant from the ceiling?
Possibly got pulled right out of them. Or maybe just some boots on the floor. I don't know.
Could be boots. I'll go another 10 feet to here.
Okay. You get a little closer and you peer at the boots. The boots don't appear to be close together. They appear to be sort of separate. They're separated about, I don't know, like 2 feet apart. One of them's sort of angled a little bit 45 degree. The other one is straight up. Looks like something's in the boots. You can't make out what it is.
Bring the boots closer without us having to enter the room.
A knock on the boots might be enough. There seems to be a occupant.
Alright, I'm going to cast Mage Hand to appear and knock on some boots.
Okay, you want to knock on the boots. Alright. So the Mage Hand glides across the room. Forms a little fist with a pointed knuckle. And you knock on the boots. What's interesting is that, boots being made of leather, they would probably make a very wet sound. But these make actually kind of a very solid knocking sound, as if you were knocking a wall.
Can I have the hand pick up one of the boots and turn it over and give it a little shake?
You can.
All right.
The hand opens up and goes to grip one of the boots and pull up, and it meets resistance and doesn't pull up.
Hope,
Yes.
can you see the boots?
Can I see the boots? Looking through Varel's arm. Everyone can see the boots.
Yeah, and you can all
Yes.
see the boots from far, but because of your dark vision and the dim light, it's hard to make out details exactly.
Hmm.
All right,
You'd
I'm
have
gonna
to
try to
get a
pick
bit
up the
closer.
other boot.
Yeah, hold, Stanley.
Oh, never mind.
I hope, as the wearer of boots that I know best, what say you of those boots? Are they fine boots?
I'll roll a perception.
Okay.
Praise those boots.
I'm appraising the boots.
Mhm.
With a 10.
I mean, yeah. So from this perception, from this distance, you look at them, and they have the look of like work boots. So like a steel toe work boot of some kind, not a combat boot, and they're not high. They wouldn't go high up. They'd probably just sit maybe a few, like 6 to 7 inches above an ankle for height. I just don't know what that's called, but they don't go very high up. And but they have the look of workman's boots. Brown,
look
from what
like
you can tell. with your dark
Steel-toed
vision.
boots.
Hmm. There is such creatures in the world that do fish and dangle, perhaps by the head or by the tongue. I believe these to be tainted boots.
But how do we get the creature into view?
It is under a mighty maw, perhaps, or many creatures that have either staged around this boot or formed its appendage.
Yeah, yes, but how do we trigger them to get out? To show themselves?
It's perhaps a foot into the boot.
I'm gonna have Mage Hand try to go down inside the boot, and it's gonna be grabby as it goes in, and just try to jostle anything that's in there. There's a grabby hand.
So
and a
you try
boot.
to go in the boot.
Yeah, the hand's gonna go in the boot.
It's prevented from doing so because the boots are filled.
Oh,
Filled. Ugh.
Stanley, can you grab? What?
No, like
But
I
it's
said.
difficult to
jostling the
see.
boots.
It's difficult to see from here. You start jostling the boots, and the boots don't move.
I'm beginning to suspect these are not your average boot.
Hey,
Was that a
George.
boot?
George,
Yeah. Yes.
what's your favorite kind of boot?
What do you mean? My favorite kind of boot is one without a hole in it. I like it. The Teat God issued boots. They're comfortable, and if you need repairs, they're good. I guess. It's like a combat boot. See what I'm wearing now. They're nice, aren't they? And he shows you his, black. They're old and rugged, but he's had these black combat boots on.
Pharrell, can't you sense what's under the ground?
I'll bend down and give it a touch. 21?
Oh, so you're moving out to the boot?
No, sorry. I bend down as in putting my hand on the ground again to feel for
Okay.
motion.
And you go to feel for motion in the earth. It's quiet. Apart from the normal life and the distant rumbling you're detecting, there's no threat or danger in the rock floor that you can tell from tremor.
Stand up. I believe it lies in wait. But if this is an ambush predator, it would be most weak at a distance when it would have to expose itself. I believe we could move along the edge of this room safely.
Well, then lead the way.
Very well, I will. And I advance into the room along the edge of the wall.
Okay, go ahead and move yourself around.
Cool. I'm going to,
Let's move yourself here. Here.
cool. I will Prince of Persia myself along the wall.
All right, does everyone in the party follow along?
Yeah, I'll start following. Go for it.
Yeah.
Okay. George stays near you. Nash, do you follow along?
Yep.
Okay. So everyone hugs the side of the wall, and now that you're in the room and the bright light from Nash's light rock, the orange light is shining a bit better. You can kind of see a texture better on the boot as the mage hand is trying to grip it from the ground. And you notice that they look like they're made, that they're crackly, and they're made of rock. And in the boot, what looks like like perhaps legs in the boot, and then cracked off because the top of the leg, maybe near where the kneecap would be, is broken into pieces.
This might be a statue.
Of who? Or what?
The tieflings.
Oh,
Remember?
yeah, your
You were turned
people.
to stone.
The tieflings returned to stone.
Yes, and Tedna even wrote about stone tieflings, so this could be one of them.
What turned them to stone?
I don't know.
Such fine boots, I say aloud. I would very much like to wear them.
Is this a performance or deception?
A performance, I guess.
Then go ahead and roll it.
Six.
It was an okay performance, but you get no response back.
Maybe it's just a statue and we're being a little overly cautious here.
I have been shot many times this night.
Hope will take a step forward, and I'll roll a perception to see if I notice any pieces of statue sticking out of the ground or something that could have fallen around it. With an 8.
All right, well, you take a look at it as you step closer to it and concentrate on your percepting. And what you do notice is that the boots, in your estimation, appear to be made not of metal, but of stone. And it appears to be aged. It's worn all, like the boot surface, the stone surface looks worn in certain places and crusted off. Where a small amount of leg comes out of the boot, there's just what looks like cracking. Now, what you don't see is the rest of whatever it is that would normally be attached to a boot, a person, and you don't really see a pile of any kind that would suggest that it was broken and or something like that. The top piece had fallen over and was somewhere else. You don't see anything about the rest of the top of it at all. There's nothing. It's literally 2 boots and maybe a few inches of leg, and then the top is cracked off from, looks like natural erosion of the stone.
Well, should we continue?
Let's continue. And I'll go another 15 feet along the wall.
Mm-hmm. All right. Now, in an attempt to be quiet, let's get a group stealth check, please. That includes you, George.
10.
12.
All right.
Sorry.
17.
Nash, can you roll a stealth check?
Yep. Sorry. 1. I had to
Okay.
fix a
So
cable,
George-
and I rolled and it was a
uh,
1. Sorry.
The front of the line attempts very much to be quiet and to not disturb the wall even while clutching it, and Nash is like behind you, and George is like just making tons of noise with his boots, and you hear him going like, "Oh my god, oh Jesus Chrome, oh Jesus Chrome, oh Jesus Chrome," as you guys edge along the wall.
Great.
Nothing happens, however.
Okay.
Well, continue another 15 feet.
All right, we continue along with that event.
I see the tunnel continue. I whisper back to Stanley.
All right, let's keep moving. Although, you may want to keep this room in mind if you ought to have a fight.
True. Advance another 15 along the wall.
Everyone advances cautiously along the wall, circling the stone, the foreboding stone boots in the center of the room. Nothing happens.
And I will, now that we're nearly out of it, make a break for the 30 feet to the tunnel entrance and stop there.
Does everyone follow suit?
Yeah.
So you, Nash, you push yourself ahead of George.
Yeah,
who's rolling
totally.
On his tail. He just looks at you like,
This is part of why they're being so loud. They just keep pushing each other out of the way.
they're both in competition for who gets to be behind Hope. All right. So, Pharrell, you make it to the cave entrance, and you notice that the cave narrows once again to a 10-foot width and bends to the right.
I'll get out of the way to let everyone into the tunnel area.
George
And
runs
as they
past
walk by,
everybody.
Good job. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Good job. Very good job. Well done. I appreciate your caution, everyone. I know I have been short in town. That it is a frustrating environment for me. I appreciate you all letting me lead here.
Well, this is your environment, Pharrell. I trust your survival instincts more than just about anyone else here.
George, come back. What? You're ahead of the party, George.
Sorry. I didn't.
Freaking George.
Just nervous. Sorry about that.
It's like Ted in a 2.0 here.
We continue.
Nobody's that bad, Scott. Don't be that mean to George.
That's true, yeah.
I'll advance to just about the corner here to view around it.
Okay. And you go to look around, and this is a rounded, naturally formed, sort of rounded cavern. Veers off to the right. You don't see enough at this angle. You have to inch forward further to see further.
All right, I will inch until I can see the edge around the corner. At least to the point where I would see the first fourth
Okay. Well,
of this edge of his big circle.
I'll inch you forward. Okay.
Excellent.
George. All right. So you move and you notice the cavern sort of has this natural turn to the right, and you inch forward along the inner side of the bend until you look down and you see an opening. And in what you see down this opening is another larger cavern room, and you think you notice what looks to be like a very old table made of wood up against the far wall from what you're looking at. You don't see anything on the table, but there is a man-made table here.
We have a table.
A table. Sweet.
Well, we might as well get moving in. If we were going to be in an attack, being in a tunnel is a terrible place to be for that.
I will advance to the room's entrance. Yeah.
Here? Okay. So we get a stealth check, please.
Everybody, or just...
No, just
Varel.
Varel.
Okay.
22.
Okay, so you quietly move ahead, motioning for everyone to hang back a bit and take a peer around. Now, what you do notice that there's a cavern. It's a naturally formed room. Cavern walls, same as the rest, greasy clay, very dark clay. But you notice there's a table on the far side, and there's as you look in, there's a second table. As the room splits off both left and right in two different directions, the passage to the right seems to enter into a very narrow cavern, and the passage to the left seems to be, again, another 10-foot wide cavern. There isn't much in terms of detail, but on the left cavern, you notice something scratched into the wall. There's some symbols there. You cannot make them out very clearly from your vantage point.
All right, I'll wave everyone up to me.
All right, I'll go up and join him.
Okay.
As Stanley comes up, 2 tables, writing on the wall there.
All right. Where in the room was the writing?
I will ping it. See, right there. To your right. It's your right, coming from north.
All right. I'm gonna go see if I can figure out what that is. And I'm gonna try and carefully creep over to that corner.
Okay. As you creep over the corner, you hear. And you hear it sort of echoing throughout the hallway. You examine the markings on the wall. It definitely is writing, but not in a language that you understand.
Can I?
I will double check that to make sure that it's true. Yes, it is not in a language you understand.
All right. I will
But there are definitely markings resembling language.
creep back over to the group and let them know. There does seem to be writing over there, but I can't make it out, not with any language I know.
Perhaps it's a rune. I want to go check if it's a rune.
Okay.
So I'm going to
Make
creep
an
over
Arcana
there.
check, please.
Yep. I have good. 23.
You examine it, and you definitely notice nothing of magical origin about this writing scratched into the clay walls.
Okay.
It's not a rune.
I'll creep back.
Can I concentrate and ping Diantalis and see if he recognized the language? Because I can communicate with him, right? If I concentrate?
No.
Oh,
No.
okay.
He's a witness, but you are in the driver's seat.
Okay.
But you can't consult with him without just turning over the keys.
He can
And
only make you.
You've already done that, so it's going to take a long rest, I believe.
Well, I still have
over.
the short, the
The
10-minute
ritual?
one, the 10-minute ritual, but we'll.
Yeah. Is everyone
keep
looking?
Stanley around for
Is
now.
everyone looking at this writing?
Well, Hope will wander in now and kind of look over to where everyone's looking.
Yeah, if Nash is there analyzing it for any amount of time, we'll all join him, I think.
Yeah. So, hope you instantly recognize the writing as a language you can understand.
Whoa.
I'm gonna move to this side and just keep an eye down this tunnel in case I see anything while they're doing that.
Cool. I'll slowly walk up to it. Guys, I can read this.
Here's
It's,
some light.
It's infernal. And it says... Sorry. It says, Wafida Titmi.
Damn straight.
And I am sending you a private message with the translation so that you can give it to the group. All right. Wafidma Titmi.
It says supply cache.
And the singing's coming from that direction?
You'll have to do a survival check. It's reverberating off the walls. It's kind of feels like it's everywhere.
And it's a big voice, clearly.
Yes, it's a big voice, but it sounds like it's from far away. Is it it's reverbing off the cave walls? It's definitely not in this room, so you can sort of hear it carry down the halls.
All right, I'll do that survival check.
Yeah.
17.
The singing is coming from the western entrance.
And that seems to be our
Oh, sorry,
king's
excuse me.
voice.
My bad. Eastern. I said the opposite. What I want it's the eastern entrance.
Makes sense. The supply room. Our king is large, would be my guess with his singing. And our supply path is rather small, perhaps untouched by the king. Could be useful.
I definitely think it's worth checking out.
Agreed.
Hope will nod.
Hope, in case of language, would you lead the way? I will have your back.
Yeah, I can lead the way. And
In
I'll
case
slowly.
of language.
Okay, so everyone be slow. So you're gonna make your way to the next junction here as the passage narrows, and you can barely fit in widthwise with your machine hand and machine leg. You've kind of got to scooch in. It's at little parts it gets very narrow, and you've got to go widthwise as you move down the hallway. You get to a juncture as Pharrell follows behind. You notice that there's a passage that moves directly in front of you, and then there's a passage to the left. And it sort of opens up into two different corridors that split off into two different directions.
Okay,
For a total of 4 different passages.
no writing on the walls?
There's no writing on the wall.
Okay.
George.
And the singing, once you enter in here, the singing becomes very faint and can't hear as the sound gets dampened from the smaller corridors.
Cool. I'll keep going forward.
George, get your ass in here.
George is like, "Oh, I'll wait out here, thank you. Maybe just by where the light is, very close to the door. It doesn't look safe in there."
That light's gonna move, George.
It just doesn't look safe in there, guys. That might be the den of some beast. Maybe one of you can wait out here with me. Maybe Nash could.
Bye, George.
All right, Hope. So there's a passage leading right and left, and then a passage ahead, and you can make out ahead there's a T-junction moving right and left as well.
Okay, I'll kind of lean my head back. Bro, which way?
Up and to the right was the direction of is kind of behind where the sign was. Be curious what's up there. I think I'm gonna turn and check that out.
Okay.
Just see if there's anything up this way.
All right. Roll an investigation check, please.
That's going to be a 12.
You see nothing but cavernous clay walls in the very narrow passage. Nothing jumps out at you that doesn't look like it's a naturally formed cave.
Okay.
The ceilings are also quite low here. You have about like 7 feet of clearance. Pharrell, your head is gently grazing the ceiling in this area.
Alright, I turn back around and rejoin them.
Mm-hmm.
South would put us closer to the keep. I say that's where supplies are.
All right. I'll move forward, and then I'll swing a left.
All right. As you swing a left, you walk down the hall, and you notice that the sand, like the clay on the wall, with your dark vision, has become a little smoother, a little more greasy and damp, and very, very dark. Like, I mean, if you could see better spectrum of light, you would say this is a very black wall here.
Hmm.
As you move down the passage.
We can expect ourselves under the moat then.
As you move towards the end of the hall, it clears up a little bit, and you see that there's a passage left and right. And you see to the right, it appears to turn back, maybe to connect to the T-junction. And to the left, there appears to be something of a dead end, but then also a little alcove in the wall that you can make out.
Okay, well, I'll keep heading south as best I can,
Okay.
and I'll make it to that little junction.
Okay. All right, so you make it to the junction, and as you look into the alcove to the right, you see a ratty old rucksack filled with holes. Looks hundreds of years old. Most of the rucksack looks rotted out.
I found something. Stanley, do you want to touch it with the mage hand?
Sure. I'll send the mage hand out to go and rummage in the rucksack.
So you go to rummage in the rucksack with the mage hand as it floats out. As soon as it touches the zipper, it pulls the zipper off the rucksack, and the rucksack sort of flies open. And its contents spill out all over the ground. There's a lot of things there. What you do see, though, is quite a bit of just like, looks like rotten material as it folds out. Then something shiny catches your eye and glints and then lands in the dirt.
Mage hand's gonna pick that up.
Okay. So you pick up a gem as it picks it up and brings it to you. It's a red gem. It's sapphire or red gem. It's a ruby.
All right. We'll send the mage hand. I'll take it in my hand and send the mage
Am I gonna have
hand
to
back.
pick out all the contents of the rucksack with your mage hand? Because then I'm gonna say the process is gonna take a certain amount of minutes, and we're just gonna say what's in it.
Are we fairly certain that this is safe and don't have to use the mage hand anymore? Can we just rummage proper like?
Yeah, we can do that. I'll walk in and start rummaging.
All right, you start looking through the rucksack and pulling contents out. There are pieces of old, rotten clothing. You just kind of toss those aside, and as you dig in, you find an old pack of cigarettes.
Ooh.
This is an unmarked box, but you see cigarettes in there. Paper's rotted on it. It's tobacco. You find a dagger, rusted, old. You dig down and you open up a little kit, and it looks like a first aid kit. And as you open it up, you see some bandages, a little bit of liquid, looks like salve of some kind, tweezers, scissors. And as you dig into the first aid kit, you also see a bottle of pills.
Sweet, we got pills.
Pills here.
We're rich.
And then digging through, you find a shortwave radio.
Oh, man.
It's crank operated.
I just want to acknowledge I just got Kyle's Left 4 Dead reference. That was awesome. Took me a second.
Okay. You find a gold necklace.
Reloading.
You find rations. They're probably rotten, but you find rotten rations.
Rotten rations.
There is a lantern and some lantern oil in the bag. You also find a Swiss Army knife. So just this, thing that is like this. You can flip out, and there's a screwdriver on it. There's a wrench. It's a thing to
nice.
open wine bottles. It's a Swiss Army knife. Find a bottle of glue.
Arts and crafts.
Find what looks to be like a aerosol can attached to some sort of trigger mechanism, probably pepper spray. A handgun. Box of handgun shells. Or bullets. 30. There's a compass in there. And then there's a finely crafted stick of wood with a smooth surface that has no dirt or rot on it. I think we should take our break here while you guys write down all the contents of your character. Now, is everyone writing them down?
I wrote them all down, but I wrote them all down in my note. I wrote them in my notebook, not in my character sheet.
Cool. All right. Well, let's take a break there as you rummage through the contents of the bag. I think we're at our halfway point.
Yep.
And consider the things you found.
All right. We'll be right back, everybody.
We'll be right back.
Don't go anywhere.